I hear from a lot of people that are actually losing money on jobs because they are having trouble estimating the jobs correctly. Now, I think that the common problem that occurs in kind of scheduling and estimating jobs is you think of how many build hours versus clocked hours. Now, there's a big difference between clocked hours and build hours. Clocked hours you can think are 8 hours that you're actually working throughout the day. Build hours are how many hours you're actually, like, it takes you to do a job. So you have to think about that difference and how that equates to it. So when you're thinking about a job, like let's take a ceiling fan, for instance. You think, okay, it'll take me about an hour to do a ceiling fan. I could knock a ceiling fan out in an hour. So it takes you an hour to knock out a ceiling fan. That's how many build hours you have for that ceiling fan is an hour. But you also got to think about clocked hours that are involved into that ceiling fan. So at the end of the day, all the hours kind of become build hours because we're actually going to bill for all of the hours that we're actually doing the job. But when you actually do the job, I want you to not only think about how many hours it takes you to do the work, but I want you to also think about how many hours does it take to acquire the materials, like all the steps from acquiring, sending the estimate, acquiring the materials, performing the work, cleaning up from the job, set up from the job, clean up from the job, and then also collecting the payment at the end of the day. So just because you can do something in 1 hour doesn't necessarily mean you should charge only 1 hour to do that job, because there's a lot of other admin factors and job site factors that are involved in any particular job. Not so much for a ceiling fan, but if you're talking about removing a wall, for instance, or putting up a bunch of drywall and texturing it, right? You have to think about the mess that you're going to leave behind, and you have to clean up that mess, right? Are you doing a drywall job where you have to put on a coat today and then maybe come back tomorrow to do another coat and then come back the next day and do another coat? What are the processes that are going to be involved in each of those days and each of those stops? And you need to make sure that you are charging accordingly. So I think the biggest thing that I hear from most handymen is that they're struggling charging enough for particular jobs because they're charging how long the job should take them. So if you think any given job is going to take you an hour, also think about the setup and the cleanup required for that job, and how much time will you have at that house until you're fully done with that job and ready to collect the payment. That's how many hours you should actually bill for that job. And at the end of the day, if you're charging anything less than that, you're actually giving away time for free. In this business, time is money, so you need to make sure that you are allocating all of your time and getting paid for all the time that you're actually out on the job. And this also involves things like taking things to the dump, right? You can think of a toilet replacement, right? Okay, you could bang that out in an hour. You have a little bit of cleanup left over, but then what's that going to take that thing to the dump? I'm not saying to charge that, over and above what you're charging for your job, but to charge a dump fee. We always charge a debris material acquisition dump fee so that we can basically get paid for actually taking things to the dump. It's pretty crazy thought that we're actually getting paid to go to the dump, but at the end of the day, that is a job that we were hired to do, is to replace the thing at the client's house, but also dispose of that thing. And we need to be getting paid while we are still on the clock. Friends, thank you so much for tuning in. This has been day 37 of my 100-day video challenge. I appreciate you all being here. I had a whole nother video planned for today, but had some technical difficulties, had some things kind of fall through the cracks today. So I hope that this video was of value to you. Got some awesome stuff coming down the pipeline, some cool stuff to share with you guys. So make sure you tune in tomorrow for day 38, and we will catch you all then.